The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Buenos dias, everyone. Welcome to Open Friday, your favorite talk show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Fri May, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Let's take a look at today's show. First up, it's our open weekend preview with some fun dance and artistic events for you to enjoy. Then members from the production of I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez, join us to speak about this wonderful story. After that, pastry chef Tatiana Gonzalez joins us to show us how we can eat delicious and healthy gluten-free pastry. Followed by our exclusive weekly sports roundup with Bobby C. And we close out the show dancing with Anthony Ayu. So sit down y prepárate. All this y mucho más is coming your way because now we are officially open. Did I say his last name right? Hello and welcome back to Open. I'm Rina Valentin, your Pussy Café con Leche. Stumbling over my own words, Café con Leche for the next hour. Maybe I need a little more Café con Leche. Not. All right, we are always reminding you to get social with us online. That's right, people. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And, well, while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and FB at Rina Valentin. Looking forward to hearing from you. All right, it's now time to jump into all things to do with the Open Weekend Preview. First up, Lehman College Dance. 2014 hashtag Boogie Down Dance Series presents Lehman College Dance. The youthful energy and vibe of Lehman College dancers will take over the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance. Happening today, Friday, May 23rd at 8 p.m. at the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance, located at 2475 Westchester Ave, right here in the Bronx. And to RSVP, call the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance at 718-918-2110. Or you can visit them at badbronx.org, and bad is with 2 A's. Our second preview, BronxNet production workshops are back. Well, have you ever thought of having your own show air on BronxNet channels and on the web? If you have, well, we have. If so, this is the perfect opportunity for you. That's right. BronxNet is providing workshops to learn videography, lighting, editing, and more. Gain access to production equipment and produce your own show. The workshops are scheduled from May 24th through July 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the workshops will be taking place at Andrew Friedman Complex, located at 1125 Grand Concourse here in the Bronx. And to register, call 718-960-1189 or email Sean L. at bronxnet.org. And finally, for our theater lovers, I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez. This live theater story promises to transport audiences to a seminal moment in New York history as we meet Juan Rodriguez, New York's first immigrant. His story is now being presented in theaters all over the city, and I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez will be taking place at El Museo del Barrio, located at 1230 Fifth Avenue here in New York, happening Wednesday, May 28th from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And for more information, you can visit elmuseo.org. And, well, that's what we have for you to do on this lovely weekend. So make sure you get out and enjoy. All right, and joining us now, it's our BDJE, VinceBracy.com. Let's try and figure out what that acronym stands for. What do you think that acronym stands for?
BDJE?
BDJE.
Could that be the best DJ ever by any chance?
OMG, are we full of ourselves or what? No,
Friday,
but you're right.
Rita.
You guessed it. It's just that your generation, they speak in acronyms. Yeah, there I go, giving my age up again. But
LOL.
everything's acronyms. It's amazing how you're able to pick that up. You're like, could that be best DJ ever? It's like,
SMH at you, Rena, for not knowing what that is.
no, of course I know what it is. I even had it broken down. I just thought it was fun to hear, your generation once again actually describe or define what the acronym actually stood for.
Yeah, we do that. We try to stay hip.
And you get to talk a little bit about yourself and your abilities.
Yeah,
Best DJ ever. Viste.
All the time. Rena, you're hosting an event tomorrow, am I correct?
No, actually, I'm not hosting it, but I'm on a panel amongst these other women. And thank you for even bringing it up, because it's really, I'm actually honored to be a part of this. So we've had this group, an organization called Dignity Universal up here on the show.
Okay.
They were here a couple of months ago, and they were here when they first got into the Bronx, or started formulating their space here in the Bronx. And they actually are into teaching the youth of, I guess, in the teen age range, how to live their purpose.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I know it's a little deep, and
If they're ready for it.
well, I think once they show up, that's a sign that they are ready for it.
Yes.
Because the idea is that they actually have a better understanding of who they are as a person, as opposed to trying to be like somebody else. Right? And so I've been invited to be one of the female panelists to actually share my story through television, my journey to television, and how I'm living my purpose.
Yes, Rena. I like it. So it seems like, a lot of young women are going to get to, I guess, embrace who they are or who they're going to be at some point.
I hope to inspire them to embrace who they are,
nice.
because that's what it's all about. We're all individuals living a purpose together, collectively.
Right on. I heard there's going to be a performance, a top secret person that's coming.
Yes,
I don't know who it
who's
is. But
performed for Deepak Chopra. Yeah, which is kind of hot, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all secretive. I don't even know.
Oh, you don't know who it is?
No, I don't know.
I was hoping you could give us a little...
I don't. I just know that I've been asked to share my story, and I'm really excited about it, because the majority of the kids are going to be from the age ranges from 10 to 18.
Okay.
And from what I understand, there's an estimated right now confirmed, there's 30 kids already confirmed. And what some people may or may not know about me is that I used to be the artistic director at a site for Children's Aid Society.
Really?
So I've been working with kids for very many years. I mean, once I had my own, it was oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do what everybody else is. However, I love working with kids, and from the artistic perspective, and I like to just share the importance of development through the arts, right? Because I think children learn in a different way when they have arts and culture in their development.
Right on.
Yeah.
And that event is tomorrow at 6:30?
Yeah, it's tomorrow at 6:30. I'm going to be sharing the details, but you're free. Feel free to
Cool.
share
I
it.
got
I'll
the
just
address that I
repeat it.
have. I have Dignity Universal, 1660 Boone Avenue in the Bronx.
Yeah, and it's at 6:30, and there's some other panel speakers. I don't know if you have them up there.
Yeah, I
Maybe you can
got
mention
who
their
else?
names.
Joanna Rivas, Lana Foy, Dawn Diaz, and Allison Kramer.
Yeah, all women empowerment, passing it on to the next generation. S.O.A., right? Thanks for bringing it up. DJVinceBracy.com. Yeah, I know. He's DJVinceBracy.com. Go visit it. Yeah, you'll have fun. Wicka, wicka, wicka. All right, we have to take a quick break, but before we do, just like to remind you once again that this Saturday, what we were discussing will be Dignity Universal's Meet the Legends event, empowering our youth with an all-female panel where the special guests, including myself, will be sharing our stories of love, courage, and inspiration geared towards empowering the next generation. It is a family affair for all to share, and it's free, my favorite word. Once again, that's taking place at Dignity Universal tomorrow, Saturday, May 24th at 6:30 p.m. And Dignity Universal is located at 1660 Boone Avenue here in the Bronx. And for more information, call 347-5... 604-1708. And stay tuned, because when we return, we'll talk about a live theater story that promises to capture your heart. Don't go anywhere.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, singing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
So you heard of the Chewbacca fish?
Yeah. Chupa who?
Well, you heard of the Chewbacca fish, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And just so the people at home know, describe it real quick for us.
Describe what?
A fish that flies out of the water like almost like a rocket. It goes like 12 feet in the air, and then what happens is it comes back down before it hits the water. It like flies into people's neck and like starts biting you in the neck and in the face.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it's out there, I'm gonna catch it on camera because I've been out here with my camera for years.
You know how the Chewbacca fish works? What happens is it shoots it like rockets out of the water like 5 feet in the air, and then as it jumps, and then what happens like 5 feet in the air, comes down, right before it hits the water, it does a one of these moves and flies into your neck and starts like biting you and stuff.
Nah, they don't have the fish like that out here, do they?
Yeah, it's the Chewbacca fish. That's what
they have it out here in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then what happens is right before it comes and hits the water.
Yeah, he tried to hit somebody.
Exactly.
Llegaron los caballos. ¡Huépame! Mira, yo te vi con ese teléfono. ¡Suelta el teléfono!
Hello and welcome back. Last year, a strip of Broadway in Upper Manhattan was renamed Juan Rodriguez Way. But sadly, most New Yorkers knew very little or almost nothing about this unsung hero. And our following guests are here to change that. Here with us to speak about the upcoming presentation at El Museo del Barrio and to share more about the show I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez, our director and choreographer, Maya Garcia, and co-writer of this important story, Armando Batista. Hello and welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gracias.
So I just shared with everyone, I gave them a little insight as to the importance of this story. And let's just share a little bit about your background, and so that we can kind of come to the place of understanding why you chose to tell this story, right? So Maya, I'm going to start with you because I'm in awe of the fact that you worked on Fela, right? Which is another historical story.
Absolutely.
So can you share a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm drawn, I suppose, to revolutionary figures. My father is a Cuban immigrant, and my mother is American of Dutch descent. And as someone of mixed race heritage, I've always been interested in the stories that allow us to open cross-cultural dialogue. And Juan Rodriguez is exactly that. We live in a city that's full of people who come from everywhere. And so when you look at our origin story, I think there's a pilgrim paradigm that needs to be turned upside down, because Juan Rodriguez was a mixed race man from Santo Domingo, got on a Dutch ship, and arrived in Manhattan in 1613 and was the first immigrant or settler or whatever you want to call him, but the first one to live with the Lenape Algonquin Indians and essentially establish his own trade, make his own way. He was the first New Yorker.
That's amazing, and they don't teach us that in school.
They certainly don't, but we're going to change that.
That's good. That's good. We like that. We like that.
For
so,
sure.
Armando,
Yes.
you're actually one of the co-writers.
Co-writers and actor. I play Juan in the play.
Pues claro.
of
Pues
course.
claro que you got to play Juan. Mira esa cara.
Well, it's amazing that I first learned about the play from El Museo del Barrio and an exhibit that they had there. But I'm a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in Washington Heights and a child of Dominican immigrants. So this story touches home for me, and I think it's an amazing story to share with our youth, especially the youth of color, because growing up I didn't have these these American heroes to look up to, someone that looked like me.
Correct. Right. With the cultural diversity that we come from as people from the Caribbean or just people of color. We're people of color, which means we're mixed breeds, you know, and New York is becoming that. So it's nice that you're actually making sure that our cultural history is part of the New York diaspora.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And this is a story that is, it's not specifically, you know, intended for Caribbean pride or Dominican pride. This is a story that all New Yorkers can share. Juan Rodriguez was most probably African, Spanish, Taino, Mestizo, and really, so he speaks to a history of people of color in New York that is actually deeper, inclusive, and it's deeper than you know, a slave history. It's deeper than what's been taught in the history books. It's a story of a freedom fighter who, you know, claimed his freedom, defended his freedom, you know, threatened to jump overboard if they made him get back on the ship, and demanded goods in payment of his services. So he's a real hustler. He's a real New Yorker.
Big time bartering back in those days, right? Which was, I guess, the means of survival. I mean, it's a good way to do business anyway. And so let me ask you a little bit about the research that you had to do, Armando, because I actually attempted to research Juan, and it was very challenging for me to actually obtain information on him as far as facts. There's not much in online.
There's not. There is research that's been done, and that research pretty much has been compiled in one monograph. But really, the story is left there. Just a little bit of what we know when he came to the island and what happened when he came to the island. But everything else, that's why we're creating the story. We're filling in those gaps. So part of our research started by actually going to the Caribbean. We went to the Dominican Republic, and we went and immersed ourselves there in just as much as we could of colonial history and trying to understand the island at that time. You know, we went up to Isabela, which was Columbus's first settlement where he first arrived. And again, just trying to immerse ourselves and be there and understand what it was to be there at that time. So that's part of what the research was. And then now in the creative process, it's been the actual, what you would call ethnographic research of like, what is it to be an actor that is living within this time and within this body and relating to the other characters in this situation, and what is it to actually feel that? What does it feel like Juan in these moments?
So I just got that because I also know that you're an adjunct professor that teaches acting, and you're a choreographer, and then of course the organic magnetics is it's kind of it's inclusive, right?
It's a theater arts organization.
Yes. Right, so this is all obviously educational, and so based on what you've chosen to educate with, it's a timepiece, and based on what you just shared, is like how do you put yourself in that time, right? And so I just got really fascinated with that whole concept of even sharing that with the audience, just being not just being on the outside and being the audience, diving into that time frame, but actually being that person. Which is what you just shared.
Well, with Organic Magnetics, the first project that I worked with Maya on was called Ghosts of Manhattan, and it was a walk-through theater experience that took you through 500 years of New York history. And we first introduced Juan in the park, Fort Tryon Park, which is an amazing experience. I mean, we really walked people through history. And the first introduction to Juan Rodriguez was in Ghosts of Manhattan. So there we actually are continuing on with that format of storytelling, of really bringing the audience in to the world in which we're telling story.
So the audience does play a role in this production as well.
Absolutely. We're trying to make the experiences as immersive as possible. Now, we've only had a month to put it on its feet at a museo in the theater. So we'd like to see future iterations that become more and more interactive. This production will be, you know, we're in a proscenium setting, so we're not outside in the park where we can move people around as much, but we're bringing the actors into the audience. And essentially, the story brings you in, the music brings you in. We're working with a wonderful composer named Daniel Romain. We have a set designer named Roberto Visani that's actually at the theater now, rolling in a ship mast. And I've got Carlton Jones doing costumes. All the actors are at the theater at this moment getting into costume. And so the experience draws you in, and it requires a full attention to what was it like as an African, as a European, as a Caribbean, as a Native American in 1613 in Manhattan.
This is so awesome. And you know, just your credits. So I can only imagine the execution of the production. And also, I did mention to everyone that you actually have an afternoon performance the day before, right?
We do. On Tuesday, the 27th, we will present I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez. It's sort of a dress rehearsal for us.
Yeah.
But we wanted to give an opportunity for students, for young people to see the show and to hear their feedback.
And educators,
because we'd love to bring this show to museums and libraries and theaters across New York City so that all New Yorkers have a chance to learn about Juan Rodriguez.
So do they have to call a certain number? Like, let's just say the school is listening right now and they want to bring a class?
Yeah. Any educators who want to bring their students, you can go to elmuseo.org, go under events, and in the calendar you can register online. I think there may be about 150 seats left for the Tuesday matinee performance, and I think that there are about 200 seats left on Wednesday. So register in advance. It's free. Anyone who wants to attend.
Your favorite word?
It's my favorite word.
Free.
It's their favorite word too. Don't you even try it. You know,
Tuesday at
your
12.
favorite word.
Tuesday at 12.
High quality entertainment, education for free. Can't get better than that.
And
in New
it's
York City.
educational, and it's about our history. That's awesome. Thank you so
Sure.
much,
Thank you
Maya
so much for
and
having us,
Armando,
Rena. It's a
for
pleasure.
coming and
Thank you.
sharing these details
Gracias.
with us. And once
Gracias.
again, for more information on the presentation of I Am New York, Juan Rodriguez, you can visit elmuseo.org, or you can follow them on Twitter at I Am New York JR. We have to take a quick break, but coming up next, we'll find out how we can eat delicious pastry in a healthy way. Stay tuned.
We good? We good?
Thank you, Rena.
Hello, I'm Dante Lemon from Open 2.0 on BronxNet, the show by teens, for teens, and about teens. Catch us every Friday at 4:30 and anytime on the web by going to www.bronxnet.org.
Hi, this is Jeff Fox for 107.5 WVLS. And when I get off the radio, I check out my man, the Dr. Bob Lee. It's open on BronxNet. I never miss it.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Cruz Zinkerbell. Okay, time for cake.
it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Guru. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate.
Volunteer. Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
welcome back to Open. And, don't forget to get social with us. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and tweet me at Reina Valentin. Many of us may not choose to, the habit of healthy eating, right? Because we associate healthy with bad or bland taste, right? But our next guest is here to show us that it is possible to take care of our health eating at what is best for our wellness while still having a delicious taste. Please welcome to the show pastry chef Tatiana Gonzalez.
Hello, how
Hello,
are you?
and
Great.
welcome.
Thank you.
And of course, I just want to say, just looking at everything, I feel like I'm like 10 pounds heavier, right? So
No.
I'm really excited to have you here because cupcakes, that's our favorite in the household.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. So let's just start with, we can actually make it while we
Okay.
talk a little bit
Perfect.
about just the gluten-free aspect of it, because I kind of feel like, first of all, let's just share with everybody how you actually are really health conscious and that most of your material is cooked gluten-free.
Right. So I actually decided in 2011 to go gluten-free because of a dietary need. So I kept getting really sick. I had a lot of stomach pains. I had a lot of headaches. And so I went to the doctors and they ruled out all kinds of different things that it could be. And so ultimately it came down to try to change your diet and eliminate certain foods to see if you feel better. And as soon as I eliminated gluten, which is found in bread, wheat, rye, and barley, I felt instantly better. And so I just decided to change my entire lifestyle and dedicate it to gluten-free, and I've been better since. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that on a personal level, but I'm also, I find that gluten-free is becoming like a fad, you know, like it's, and of course, I already mentioned that it kind of like plays a role in the way things taste, so I'm very curious to know what you're doing to make sure that it still tastes regular.
Yes, I totally agree, and it is a fad, and I hate to shut it down, but it doesn't necessarily make you, it's not like it'll make you fat if you go on a gluten-free, or make you thinner if you go on a gluten-free diet. But
most people think that. Most people think that if you eliminate the gluten, that you're going to lose weight. And I have to be honest. I happen to have met a few people that actually dropped, and I've actually been considering going gluten-free. So I was excited when I saw you on the list of my next guest, of being one of my guests.
Absolutely. I always recommend it, so I recommend it to you. And I mean, you'll feel better. And as Americans, in American society, we eat gluten in everything. We have it in our cereal in the morning. We have it in a sandwich for lunch, pasta at night, and then a cookie, after dessert, for dessert. And it's just really like taking over. And so we just really need to limit it. So I definitely recommend it.
Okay. So now, gluten-free, tell us what this entails with these fabulous cupcakes that I'm going to eat this morning. Yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am.
Definitely. These are gluten-free, just chocolate cupcakes, and they're made with quinoa.
Okay.
So they're flour-free and grain-free, and this is quinoa here. This is raw quinoa. So they just look like little seeds. And basically, this is made with cooked quinoa. So I cook the quinoa, then you blend it up into smooth consistency, and then you mix it in with the chocolate batter that I made here, and this is what we get. And it's extremely moist. It's gluten-free. There's so much protein and vitamins and minerals in the quinoa. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now we're going to decorate them?
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a raspberry surprise. So we're going to core out the centers with this here, and just go just like that.
Okay, so.
Take out the center.
All right, so.
And you can drop a raspberry in there.
Okay, so I'm going to drop a raspberry, so that means this is my cupcake.
Yes.
Because my hands are on it. Oh, goodness.
And I'm just going to put some chocolate frosting here.
Okay.
Did I make it difficult?
Okay, yeah, it's okay. I got it. All right, so just one raspberry?
Just one raspberry,
All right,
yep.
We'll make sure I pick a nice one. There we go. Like that?
Yep, that's perfect.
I did it right. Okay.
All right, and then what we're going to do is, if you want to, we have a spoon.
Shall I show the cameras? Let me say, look how beautiful. Simple. Okay.
And no one's going to know it's in there, so it's going to be a nice little surprise. Then we have some raspberry jam here, and you can just fill it inside if it'll come out. Let's see here.
Okay, so that's cute.
Okay, so we're just going to press that in. And then...
So here it is, right? We put the raspberry, and there's a hole in the raspberry, and then she put the raspberry jam allegedly in the hole. But
it can actually go vice versa.
right? It went a little more than the
Right.
But the idea was to fill up the little hole
Right.
because it's going to be a little surprise when you bite into the cupcake.
Yeah.
Right? Nice. I like that. I
So
like that.
you could do it vice versa. You could put some of the jam first, and then from there you can go with the raspberry.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna put a little bit of chocolate frosting, and this is just a basic chocolate ganache, so melted chocolate. It's normally made with whipping cream or heavy cream. I used milk just to take out a little bit of the fat. And then we can go ahead and top it with some coconut for a little bit of texture, a little bit of crunch.
So we top it with some
Yep.
little coconut.
Just sprinkle it
little
over.
Sprinkle coconuts. As my daughter is sitting in the audience eyeing this down, she's like, "Yes, mommy, that is my cupcake." Those are fighting words, no?
Right?
Okay, go ahead.
So that's it. I mean, and it's so delicious. It's full of chocolate flavor. You're not going to miss that there's gluten in it, I promise.
I just want to show everybody how much time does all of this take, really, like from the baking part to the decorating part and the jam. Like, do you pick a sugar-free jam? Like, just because all of this is made with a health consciousness, right?
So the jam is made homemade, so you just take raspberries with a little bit of water, some lemon juice. You can put a pinch of sugar if you'd like to sweeten it, and you just boil it down until the raspberries break down, put it in the blender. Some people like the seeds, some don't. I took out the seeds, so I strained it. And then you can use a little bit of starch, such as potato starch or tapioca starch, just to thicken it up. So that's homemade. Make sure there's no gluten in it. And this is just chocolate ganache. So this is just plain chocolate. And
This is chocolate, right?
Yep. So
yeah, I just want to make sure they see it. Yeah.
chocolate ganache, and then here's the raspberry frosting. Everything is homemade, and that's the best way to do it so that you know what's going into your food. It takes about an hour total to complete everything.
To actually do it all yourself, and like you said, and so you know exactly what's going into your food, and of course it's made with your own energy on top of everything else.
So then in the end you get to treat yourself.
Yes, like I'm gonna do in a few minutes when I put this thing in my mouth.
It's gonna be great.
I can tell. I'm looking forward to it. However, I just want to share with everyone how you've become a sensation on Instagram, and
Thank you.
how Instagram is this platform where you're actually showing people what you're making, giving them recipes, and just people are actually into this. And the fact that, again, it's a health consciousness and gluten-free, and just that you've become very popular.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a huge market for it, and I'm very excited to one day start selling my stuff. And I mean, I promise to give out the best that I possibly can.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to be the taste tester.
Go for it.
Woo! Let's see, before we go, real quick.
Did you get the raspberry?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
not yet.
I'm trying to be civil.
How does it taste?
Well, it tastes so good. This is such a PMS dish, it's not even funny.
Are you missing the gluten at all?
No.
No?
Not at all. Thank you.
No problem.
We forgot the napkins.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, Tatiana, they're wrapping us up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want anybody to know anything before we go?
Sure. You guys can find all of my photos and some recipes that I'll be putting up at CaliGirlBakes_GF. And you can find me at tatiana.gonzalez@yahoo.com for a personal contact.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
Tatiana.
you.
Woo,
Thank
so
you.
excited for you. Once again, for more information on Tatiana Gonzalez and her gluten-free recipes, follow her on Instagram, which is at CaliGirlBakes_GF. We do have to take a quick break, but before we go, here is a taste of what happened during season 2 of Rena Gets Lean. You're going to see the best of our last season as a preview of what's coming up on next for the following season, the season that we're working on right now, as I begin my journey to run the New York City Marathon. A lot of times I feel like giving up. To be honest with you, I do. It's like, why? But truth be told, it's like, I want to live a long life.
Red body's alright. Red body's inside. Red body's on you. And there's some brew. Red body's alright. Red body's inside. You're a chimpanzee from the Zimbabwe. Alright, baby. Everybody's inside. Knew that chimpanzee from the Zimbabwe. Everybody's alright. Everybody's alright. Everybody's alright. Everybody's alright.
New York City Marathon. Here we come. Nos fuimos.
This is Bobby C. reporting from Madison Square Garden. It took an overtime goal, but the Montreal Canadiens are now back in the Eastern Conference Finals with a 3-2 OT win against the Rangers Thursday night.
We found a way. It wasn't the prettiest win all year, but we found a way. It's a good feeling right now, but it's only one win. It's a good way to come back in the series.
It's a mental game, and the team that can hold it together the longest is going to be the team that has the most success. So I think even when we faced adversity in this postseason, and especially today, we've responded the right way, and we've had great goaltending. So when you go through adversity and you respond the way we do and you have good goaltending, it's a recipe for success.
The Broadway Blue Shirts did send it into overtime and a dramatic ending at the end of the third period, tying things up. But just a minute 12 into the overtime, Montreal played spoiler, winning Game 3.
I thought we had some real good looks. Give them credit. I mean, they had some looks. That Darnay line was real good. Their goaltender made some big saves. I mean, they're two teams that are, very similar. Both teams are working real hard.
In the process, the young backup goaltender for the Canadiens scored his first playoff win.
A couple of veterans, said that we got to go get it. We can't sit back and hope for a mistake because New York was going to come at us real hard. And that's what we did. We put a puck to the net and got a break.
It's no surprise to me that we got the win today. We deserved it. We worked hard, and but this road trip's just beginning. We still have a lot more work to do.
Alex Galchenyuk played the hero in overtime, but the story was certainly the play of Habs goalie Dustin Tokarski, who stopped 35 shots and bounced back from a crushing goal in the final seconds of regulation to lift Montreal to the win. It's the second career NHL playoff game for the 24-year-old, and you can make a serious case that he outplayed Henrik Lundqvist on this night at least. The Rangers and Canadiens renew their series Sunday night in Game 4 at the Garden. The puck drops at 8 p.m. on the holiday weekend. And as always, our Bronx-Net cameras will be rolling at the world's most famous arena. Out west, Chicago and L.A., the last two Stanley Cup champions, are locked 1-1 in that series. Game 3 is set for Saturday night at 8. On the diamond, meanwhile, the Yankees took their road show from Wrigley, where they wrapped up an interleague series with the Cubs earlier in the week, to the other side of Chicago for some American League action with the White Sox. Lefty ace Chris Sale returned from an arm injury Thursday night and retired 18 of 19 Yankee hitters over 6 scoreless innings in his return. Behind Sale, Chicago topped the Bombers 3-2. The Pinstripers have lost 3 of their last 4. They wrap the weekend with 3 more games in Chicago with the White Sox before traveling to St. Louis at the start of next week. Across town, the New York Mets return to Citi Field this week, opening a long homestand with the LA Dodgers. LA took the first 2 games, with the Mets salvaged the 3-game set Thursday in a 5-3 final. Eric Campbell made a great catch in the 8th, and Henry Mejia notched his second save as the Mets avoided the sweep. The Amazons will have Arizona for 3 games this weekend and then Pittsburgh for a 3-game set at the start of the week to cap the homestand. Time for some quick hitters. Yankee captain Derek Jeter said this week that he will never manage, adding "write that down" to reporters when asked about his future in the game. Hats off to Masahiro Tanaka, who finally lost a game for the first time in nearly 2 years of baseball. The ace right-hander fell to the Cubs earlier in the week. Nobody's perfect, but Tanaka is awfully close. The Bombers have had their share of struggles of late, but perhaps none worse than the Boston Red Sox. It's always nice to talk about that, who have lost 7 in a row. Light-hitting Boston re-signed shortstop Stephen Drew this week to try and add some punch to their lineup. They let him sit on the sidelines for all of April and most of May before realizing that they missed him. On the NBA hardwood, the Brooklyn Nets may miss the old Darren Williams, the point guard who looked like a shell of himself in the postseason, clearly was dealing with injuries. Williams will now undergo surgery on both his ankles Tuesday, the team announced. The Nets and Knicks, a little bit better news here, each have a first-teamer on the all-rookie team, Tim Hardaway Jr. for the Knicks and Mason Plumlee for the Nets. In the NBA playoffs, Miami and Indiana are locked in a 1-1 Eastern Conference final, while San Antonio has leapt out to a 2-0 series lead against Oklahoma City and most valuable player Kevin Durant. The Heat and the Pacers will play Game 3 Saturday night. The Spurs and Thunder will play Game 3 Sunday night. On the NFL gridiron, Jets' new star running back Chris Johnson says his surgically repaired knee is feeling good. However, Johnson will likely not participate in OTAs until he's 100%, he told reporters on Thursday. Fellow Jets newcomer Michael Vick also said this week that there's no quarterback battle for Gang Green. Vick said he's the backup and second-year quarterback Geno Smith is the starter. And how about California Chrome? The racehorse from the California Sun made quick work of the Kentucky Derby, then decided why not the Preakness too, leaving only the marathon that is the Belmont Stakes on Saturday, June 7th as the final leg standing between California Chrome and horse racing's coveted Triple Crown. The last Triple Crown winner came in 1978, 36 years ago, when a firm accomplished the near impossible. Since 1978, 12 horses, including I'll Have Another, have won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, but not the Belmont. We'll see if we have history here in New York in a few weeks. Stay tuned. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for some words of encouragement for the New York Rangers. It's been 20 years since the New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup, and clearly back in 1994, we remember the long drought we had in place before Mark Messier, Brian Leetch, and Mike Richter decided enough was enough. Flash forward 20 years, and the Broadway Blue Shirts have something special brewing in a season when few could have expected this kind of play this late in the season. There's no doubt that the Rangers have been talented enough, but for some reason or another, they haven't been able to put things together in recent previous postseasons, and to a large degree, they haven't been lucky enough. That changed this playoff. 2 Game 7 victories and plenty of mojo to go around, and the Rangers are 2 wins away from playing for Lord Stanley's Cup. Thursday night's loss was a big one, though, and to a great extent, it could be problematic for the Rangers moving forward. In my book, the heartbreaking loss last night means that the Rangers have to win on Sunday. They should have a 3-0 lead after essentially outplaying the Habs Thursday night, but instead it's 2-1, and the Rangers have one more home game before the series shifts back to Montreal Tuesday night. If the Rangers win Sunday and still lose on Tuesday in Canada, they'll be home for a Game 6 next Thursday. If the series went the distance, Game 7 would be played in Montreal. The bounces didn't exactly go the way of the Rangers Thursday night, but they had enough chances, and this time of year, it's all about making your breaks. The heavens have allowed the Rangers a chance to be part of the Final Four. Now it's up to them to seize the day. Carpe diem, my friends. You want to drink from Lord Stanley's Cup? Then you have to play like it. No excuses. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay with us. More Open coming back right after this.
The Bronx has been blessed because here we are 100 years later and stronger than ever.
And this is a night of celebration. An evening for us to be proud and happy as to where we are when you speak of the Bronx. We are committed to the health and well-being of individuals, and we will always be there for the Bronx and Westchester, and we will continue to grow and be there.
I like to make sure that everybody in the Bronx and beyond the Bronx knows the heritage that we all share.
I'm so honored to be among these beautiful people. Thank you so much. Love you all.
So much feeling for this evening, for this event, for all of you, for honoring me in such a beautiful, special way.
You know, the Bronx gave me wings to take off and fly to destinations that I never could imagine. The Bronx gave me courage to overcome battles that people would crumble in the corner and cry.
I want to thank you for having me back in the Bronx, because it's a place that proves that, in fact, you can go home again.
Once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. I can't, words can't say enough.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Cruz Zinkerbell. Okay, time for cake.
it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Hello and welcome back to Open. It's time to get ready, get up and dance. That's right. Well, at least for our dancing Open Artist Spotlight.
The Open Artist Spotlight is made possible in part with public funds from the Bronx Council on the Arts through the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program.
Well, many have said music is the language of the soul, and, well, what better way of expressing ourselves than through the freedom of moving our body to dance? And we're going to take a little trip to an island, at least that's what it's going to feel like, because our next guest, well, you know, he's taking his passion for dance through different parts of the world, and he's been a member of the Dominican Republic's National Ballet Company as well as the National Dance Theater of Jamaica, and, well, it looks like he may take us to Hawaii today, joining us today to show us what he loves, and he's gonna bring it on. We welcome Anthony Ayu, accompanied by dancer Emily Gallego. Woo! Yes, yes, transport me to Hawaii. Eric Ayu. Did I say that right? Ayu? Yes, I said that right? Yes, I'll let you catch your breath. And I'm sorry, what was your name again? Emily. Emily, yes. Oh my goodness. I'm going to let you guys catch your breath, right? Because it looks like it's easy, right? You guys do it so effortlessly. But they're here, they're panting here. They're like, oh my goodness, that was so exciting. You have made my day. I so want to go to Hawaii. And I'm going to assume you're from Hawaii. Are you from Hawaii?
Well, I was born and raised in Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
So was Emmy.
Emmy, come Emmy.
So we moved out here to New York to pursue my career in dance. Brought the culture with me and met Emmy out here. So it was nice we could dance together.
It's been great dancing with Anthony. He's a great choreographer and dancer.
You know, the beauty of New York is that you're able to find your own culture here in New York and still incorporate it into your New York way of being.
Well, that's basically what we want to do because the Polynesian culture in New York is kind of small. Well, the community is really small, so we're hoping to kind of keep pushing the influence, build our community, and get more audience.
Well, you definitely got our eyes, okay? I hope you guys are all into this because I know I was. I so wanted to be in Hawaii. So, you know, the dance that you did, it seems like, obviously, you know, you'll be able to share with us a little further. It was tribal. Is it basic, what you were doing basic? Does it symbolize something? Or just
Yeah. So the dances we did were a little bit more of a contemporary version of the more ancient styles of Tahitian ori, which is all to drum and chanting. And then Emmy in the second dance did a ukulele dance, which is more of a contemporary dance. But they're basically, every dance we do talks about our culture, our heritage. It tells us what our identity is. We dance about our people, about our gods, our communication, and about the land and our families and the things that are important to us. So that's why it's with us everywhere we go, and that's why we came out here. But basically, all our dances have very specific meaning to them.
Okay, and so in making it more contemporary, like what do you hope people will get from it, from just sharing even this moment with us? Who wants to answer that? Yeah, Eric will answer. Okay, he's giving the eye on the mug. He's like, give it back.
Well, a lot of times the ancient dances in any culture, basically, it feels very, very foreign or very old, and it's hard to connect with for more contemporary or younger, audiences. And so, to help make a more contemporary version or style, we hope to include more people who are going to be interested and want to learn more about the culture, and then continue to share it with others.
Yeah, you know, one thing I got to say about the Hawaiian culture is that there's this sense of just, there's a sensitivity towards our existence as human beings, and your words, they have a more profound meaning than just like some of our words. I fell in love with the word aloha.
Okay,
And I, you know, I know aloha sounds really basic, but the meaning of aloha is hello and goodbye with love, right?
Yes,
Or
definitely.
you can even go deeper. I know that it's
No,
hello
that's
and goodbye
basically
with
it.
love, and that's like,
Yeah.
wow.
It's definitely hello, definitely a very deep and from a loving place from your heart that you, a feeling of or expression of love for someone or family or other people, but definitely you've got it.
So aloha.
Aloha.
And aloha. And aloha to everyone watching. And so, are you guys performing anywhere that we could share with our audience?
Well, we're not performing for a few weeks, but in August we're hopefully going to be able to perform at the Ailey Center, the Joan Wales Center for the Arts at the Alvin Ailey Studios. But
you just finished doing the dance parade,
we
right?
just
The
finished
infamous
dance
parade.
parade.
I am so in the dance parade next year. We love the dance parade.
Yes, please come dance with us in the next year.
Yeah?
But yes,
You can teach
absolutely.
me some stuff?
For sure. You want to learn some
Yeah,
now?
we're going to learn some at the end of the show.
Oh, perfect.
Or maybe while we're still on the show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Sounds good. But yeah, we actually would love people to come and dance with us. If you go onto our website at danceavea, that's danceaveia.com, you can get to know a little bit more about us and the company and hopefully come take a class with us and dance with us.
Danceavea.com.
Yes.
Danceavea.com. Thank you so much for making our morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to grab this and hope that somebody else takes it because I so want to learn some Hawaiian moves. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and then maybe, you know, they'll learn a few Hawaiian dances as well. So if you're sitting in your seat right now, get up. Come on, get up and rock with us. All right, once again, for more on Anthony Ayu, check out his, well, you can check out his videos on youtube.com/Anthony Ayu, and or you can go to avea.com, right? Avea, Dance Avea or Avea? Dance Avea, AVEA.com. That is our show today. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. Be sure to check out the Recablecast tonight and throughout the weekend here on BronxNet and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.org. Once again, I'm Rina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Aloha! Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Peace. And we're going to learn some, what are we learning today? Phoenician dance. So get up from your seats. All right, let's do it. Okay. Bend your knees.